Shimelle Laine, and I'm here with another Sketch to Scrapbook page. With Sketch 31 for this year, I'm using one 4x6 landscape photo, and then the supplies are coming from my August Best of Both Worlds kit, and there's a lot of shades of turquoise and navy blue in this set, and I'm going to be using these two papers mostly, and then some other bits and pieces. So these are both from Fancy Pens and the Have a Nice Day collection, I believe it's called. And I'm going to do something that's horrible, I know. Don't be too shocked. This side of the paper is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and I'd love to cut all those little balloons apart and pop dot them onto something to make something absolutely gorgeous. But this is exactly the right shade for what I want to work with today. It's just the color that's really inspiring me. It matches well with the other bits and pieces in the kit. So I'm going to use the B side, which is a solid. There we go. And then I'm going to use the polka dots here. So I promise it does still have plenty of pattern. And of course, you'll be able to find the sketch on my website. There's a link below the video if you're watching on YouTube. So I'm going to start with those two papers and use the solid as the full background here. And I'm going to use the polka dot as this large box behind the photo. But because this polka dot print is quite a bold pattern, I think if I pile more patterns on top of that in the three strips here, the patterns I have in the kit are mostly patterns that if I cut them apart, you won't quite be able to tell what they are. And I didn't put washi tape in this particular kit, but I've put washi tape that matches this in earlier kits. So what I'm thinking is that I will try some washi tape strips as the vertical stripes here on top of the polka dot box. And I have my one 4x6 photo ready to go that has a story that I want to put on the page here. So it should all come together pretty quickly. I've cut the polka dot strip to 4 inches wide and just a little bit shy of 12 inches. And straighten that up there on the side. And then I'm going to add some contrasting color over the top with 3 strips of washi tape. Now with washi tape, I'm going to be able to see through it. And that might not be perfect for, and that's completely not straight in any definition. Let's try that again. And with the washi tape being a little more see-through, it may or may not be a look that you like. You might want to have a little bit less of the pattern showing through, or use a pattern paper so that, or solid cardstock paper for the strips, or ribbon. There are plenty of things you could use here that would not be see-through if you think the washi tape and how you can see through it is a little bit too busy, if it's too much for your eye to take in. So just judge by your style and the photos that you're going to use and the supplies you're going to use. And if you don't like this, then you know that you've seen it here and you don't have to use your own supplies to try and have it go wrong. So there's where I'm starting with those strips of washi tape. And then my photo is going to go over the top here. And in the sketch, the photo starts just before that first strip. But I think I like it better because of the white border on the photo. I like it a little bit over toward the edge for this bit more of a contrast, the white against the solid aqua. Okay, so that means that my title is going to go here and my journaling underneath, and I'm going to go ahead and do that next. And then I have lots of room to play with different kinds of embellishment. Writing takes up way more space on the page than in the sketch, but that's okay. So I'm just going to look at the 3 spots of embellishment that are on the sketch and then work them into this page. So there's one spot over here at the bottom of the photo, and then one spot up here toward the top of the picture, and the third one comes down here below the title, and on the sketch it's at the end of the journaling, which is about here. So I'm going to go ahead and leave that rather than bring it all the way down there, because I think that's a bit far and I have more room to work in this nice little space here. So I know I'm going to use 3 of those little star clips, but I'm going to need something else, and I'm going to bring in the stickers from the kit and also some stamps. So I'm thinking that this particular sticker from the Amy Tangerine sticker book will work well because it has similar colors. I'm just tearing this out of the book so that I can move it around. This large floral sticker here, the arrow is separate. What I'm thinking is that I can't get 3 spots of that sticker from this, I don't think, but I can get 2. So just cut it right down the middle and commit to using the larger piece here, the top bit, at the top of my page. If I can use this to frame my little bit of caption, that will work well. And this photo is not good quality. It's because it's not actually a photo. The journaling is about video in dance class, and the photo itself is a screen capture from the video, so it's not particularly high quality. So I've done a little arrow because right now I can look at this and even in the graininess of the picture be able to know which one is me, but perhaps in the distant future I won't be able to. So I've drawn a little arrow so that I can spot myself there and identify the date and location and stuff like that. And now to see, maybe I can get, no, I wouldn't be able to use 3 pieces of this because I'm cutting it into pieces, and this one is kind of in the wide open here, so I wouldn't have anywhere to tuck little pieces away. That means I can bring this one down to the bottom corner here and not worry about needing to cut it into a 3rd piece. I can just bring this to this side. So getting these little spaces allocated, and I'll have a look to see if there's then another floral sticker that would work. I have this one may be the best option, but I'll just have a quick look in the book to make sure there's not something that would be better. No, I think that's going to be the best bit. So this brings in yellow and a little bit of a different color of pink. It's more a true red that's been toned down rather than the magenta type pink of the tape, but hopefully it won't clash too much. And I might tuck that underneath the letter sticker. By tucking it underneath the letter sticker, that gives me a bit more connection so that that large sticker doesn't feel like it's floating and in outer space, as it were. It has something to tie it back to everything else. Okay, so I have my 3 clips are going to go in those spots. I also have some enamel dots, and I thought I might use some of the phrases from the stamp set, and I'm just going to use those with black ink, but because I'm stamping on top of stickers, I need some black ink that won't smear on the stickers, so something like Stays On or really permanent ink. And to test that, I always just stamp in the book on the bit of the sticker that you're going to throw away anyway. So I can test it on there, and that way it doesn't matter if the sticker stock is a little bit different from brand to brand or collection to collection, because you can just stamp it on something that you're not going to use anyway. And then I have some enamel dots as well. Now, if stamping on the stickers, if I get it wrong, or if stamping on stickers is just a little bit too busy for your style, you could do the same exact thing but stamp on little scraps of paper, cut it into boxes around the word, and then apply it on top with a pop dot or flat adhesive to add another layer of paper to those little embellishment gatherings. If you like the look of the shaped metal clips, but you really don't like the look of putting clips on your photos, or if there's just not a great edge for adding your clip in the place where you wish you could use that shape, then using it with a punched paper piece is a really easy way to make all that happen. So I can just thread the star through there on a punched circle from another scrap of paper in the kit, and then attach that with either flat adhesive or pop dots. I find because of the texture of the paper clip, the pop dots make it a bit more secure, although if you want it flatter, then just use some really sticky double-sided tape. And I can then take one of these to each of those embellishment areas. So repeat that with these two, and then just add a few tiny little bits to finish. Okay, from there I have my turquoise enamel dots that I can add in. I have different shades, so I can add in that darker tone of the color to have a little bit of contrast, because there's a lot of that medium tone turquoise going on in this page. So I add 3 little dots of that to each gathering. And then to have a little bit of contrast, I'm also going to bring in a little gold to each of these groupings. And with that, I'm going to go back to the thickers because there are some little asterisk star shapes. There are 4 of them, so I can use 3 on this layout. And I think I can just overlap them. Could also bring them out separate, but I like the idea of layering up the different star shapes. And this one I'll bring down to this bottom corner so that it has a little bit of distance from the title. And add in my 3 turquoise dots over here. I might just finish with a tiny little bit of turquoise mist to get a little bit of tone-on-tone detail to these little gatherings. Now this one looks quite dark when it's a dot, but once it dries into the paper, it's not quite so dark. You can start to see the difference here, where these little drops have dried, but the big drops still look really, really dark. I'll let that dry, and that's where I'm going to call this one finished. I would say that if this particular sketch looks a bit too plain for you in the finished layout, the 2 things I would change to dress it up a little bit would be, instead of using a solid for the background, to use a subtle pattern and then put your journaling either on a journaling box or a piece of vellum or something if the pattern is too busy to allow you to write straight on the background. And to consider making all of this just a smidgen smaller, so that you could add a brightly colored frame of 12 by 12 around the edge. That would also give it a nice little finishing detail to bring the color out so that it doesn't feel quite so overwhelmingly turquoise. For example, you could do a pink mini dot 12 by 12 paper in the background, and that would frame everything up really nicely. Thanks so much for watching. If you head over to the blog today, you'll be able to see another interpretation of this sketch and download the sketch and print it so that you can scrapbook with it as well. And I'd love to see what you make, so please do share when you're done. And if you want to spend a little more time with YouTube scrapbooking, here are a few more videos you might find useful.